and today we're going to talk about opening and closing chakras. To begin with, the practitioner wants to have made the recipient comfortable, and we may have their hands down by their sides so that we can access the chakra areas. Let's start out with preparing the practitioner. You'll want to center yourself, and centering means being in the present moment without your aura being in the future or in the past, but directly on top of you, paying attention to five senses, present time sensations. So I'm going to look around the room and really focus on colors that I like, maybe sounds that I hear, maybe things that I smell in the air, and I'm going to feel my own body, and I'm rubbing my hands a little bit to activate them. And then I'm going to work on feeling energy by moving my hands back and forth gently until I can feel a little pressure or push, as though there were a prickly, slight warmth in my hands. For some of you, it's going to be this close together. For some of you, it's going to be this far apart. It varies on how activated the aura is on the day that you're working. For me today, it's about this far apart, which means that the energy from my hands is stretching out this far. Meeting in the middle, there it is. So once I've gotten used to my own energy, I'm going to come far up above, and I'll start on my client here, above the solar plexus. Right here is the edge of his rib cage. And here's the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, the sacral and the root chakras. So I'm going to activate or connect with my hands on the solar plexus, which is oftentimes the largest chakra. And here his solar plexus is about this far up. Makes me wish I was taller. But I'll hold my hands up in the air, and I want to feel the surface of it. Just as when you beat a drum, you don't beat inside the drum, you beat the surface of a drum head to make sound. So I'm going to gently activate, beat probably isn't a good word, but activate or beat the surface of the drum. And this causes any debris on the chakra to kind of fall off or activate. You could also find the edges of it. There I get that extra tingle. He has a very large and open solar plexus chakra this morning. I would imagine that he spent quite a bit of time with the kids before he came here to see me. You had a big day of children already, huh? And there it is, the edge of it. Now, clockwise to open. 12 o'clock is at the head. 6 o'clock is at the feet. The left side of their body is 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock is the right side of their body. So here we go. Find the edge of the chakra and make a clockwise circle just 3 or 4 times. Any more than that, and you may, like you strip the screws, the threads on a screw, we just want to open it, and then we want to pat it again to make an activation. And I would imagine that he's feeling that inside the body. I'm pressing the sides of the petals and the top of it ever so gently. Notice how my motions are not bong, 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 but they're very gentle and lyrical. Now, in order to, this is all to get debris to come off, and also to fluff the chakra as though you were fluffing the pillow on a bed. And then I'm going to reach up to the symbolic heavens, and I'm going to pull a ray of light as though I were pulling, my thumb is on the side of it, or as though I were holding a bottle and my thumb was along the neck. I see you blink, that's enough. So we don't want to overfill it. Sometimes I even get a sound like when you're filling up a bottle in the sink and you hear the sound change. And here I go, going counterclockwise, closing this chakra ever so gently. And when I touch it again, I find that it has greater density and more defined size. Is there anything you notice about it as I was working on you that you'd like to say? More relaxed?
Mhm.
Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to find the heart, show you another chakra. Oh, there it is. The edge of the heart, not quite as scattered or wide as the solar plexus. Actually, it feels more like the solar plexus after the solar plexus was corrected. So I'm just going to pat it a little bit to gently take debris off of it. You might say, but Sue, your hand is in the way of the throat chakra. I'm focusing all my intent, my third eye vision, my mind on one chakra, and that is the heart. I'm going to go clockwise. The head is 12, the left side of the body is 3, 6, and 9. 3 or 4, not more than 5 times. And again, patting it after I get it open, reaching up and bringing more light in as though I were pouring. Thumbs are very strong energy-wise. And this one is taking more juice in, more light in. When I stop, I'm going to readjust and pat the chakra edges, and then I'm going to close it ever so gently. And then I'm going to reassess. Notice me shaking my fingers, shaking the energy off me before I go back to reassess so that my hands don't have any odd or hot tingly energy. If you get hot tingly energy, you may want to come away from the person you're working on and do some dry brushing of your arms, shaking the energy off until you feel clear again. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to reassess the solar plexus and the heart and compare the two. Do I have them close to being alike? This is more important after you've done 3 or 4 chakras in a row. They should begin to become about 6 inches large and to not be off to the right or off to the left or dented on the top or dented on the bottom. They should all be nice domes, like a bowl that is about 6 inches across, a nice domed bowl. They should all be about this far from the body. So let's come down to the sacral chakra. We're going to find the sacral chakra, the edges of it. We're going to pat it for a while to stimulate it. And I'm stimulating this a little more than I was the others. You're going to find that if it feels like there's less energy, you'd like to stimulate it a little more. There we go. And now I'm going to open it. I'm even turning my fingers down for a stronger opening because this one was more like a tightly closed tulip or rose. So now I'm going to bring light in from above, activating the chakra and pouring light into the chakra. And now I get the sound or the feeling of backdrop. And look how much larger it is now. It readily took the energy flow in, and what I'm feeling on my hands is a little bit more heat and tingling. The heat covers the entire palm rather than just the fingertips or here or here. So now I feel this chakra with more of my hands' edges. Notice I took my hands away from him when I started to talk with my hands. That's very important. Now I'm going counterclockwise. 12 o'clock, 9, 6 o'clock, 3. Only 3 or 4 times to close this chakra. Moving my hands away, clear them off. Ah, great. And reassessing. And now that was what it took for the 3 of them to match up in a much better way. The root chakra is pointed at an angle. And we're working on it here, opening the root chakra. This chakra is fairly stable. It's about this big. That's kind of overly large, but not so much so. So I'm opening clockwise, pouring a little energy in, not a lot. With the root chakra, you don't want to overstimulate because it's so connected to the sexual energies. We want, in the life force, we want to just open it a little and work with it. Oh, good. Now I can tell that it's about the same size as the other chakras. So counterclockwise, 6 to 3 to 12 to 9. Just 3 or 4 times to close it. Matching, 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 and matching. I may come back to this solar plexus and do a little more work later. So I'm going to assess the throat. Thank you for being my person to demonstrate this on. Hope you're having fun. Glad you're not very camera shy. I'm going to pour the energy into the throat, and believe it or not, I can feel this go all the way to the back of the throat chakra and run into the back part of the throat chakra. There we go, finally. It got filled up on the back. Here I'm just working on the front of the chakras. Some people don't know that the chakras are like an hourglass. They have a front bulb and a back bulb coming out on the front, out about this far, and then narrowing like a flower coming out on the back and bulbing out again. The front bulb is more like a flower, the back part like a morning glory open, and the back part is more like a morning glory closed. So the front is typically open, and the back energies, which represent the subconscious, are typically more closed. So I wanted to take my hands off, and I closed that chakra to talk. I'm going to come back. Oh, good. In the little bit of time that I've talked, it's recentered itself, readjusted itself without even me patting it. So let's reassess. Throat, heart. The solar plexus has corrected and matches better. The chakras are little friends. They hang around in groups on the body. They're connected. So oftentimes a correction on one will make an adjustment to the other, and very rarely is it for the worse. A correction on one oftentimes corrects another. So we'll come here and find, oh, big third eye. Piercing way out here. Let's see, and pretty big. I know everybody loves their third eye, so you think, why close that down? I want that open. And it is more bullet-shaped than like a trumpet flower versus something, there we go, good. Very sturdy. He's really accustomed to discerning and understanding. So I'm going to close it up a little because it's got a lot of energy. And I'm going to come to the crown chakra. The crown chakra faces up. Notice how far out I'm starting, and I'm gently sweeping. On the other chakras, it looked like this when I was sweeping. But because this one faces upward, it looks like this when I'm sweeping. And then it comes to open up, and this time 12 o'clock is here, 3 o'clock is here, 6 o'clock is here, and 9 o'clock is here. My hands are making the clockwise motion as I'm looking at the body. There will be a graphic about this in a moment. The crown chakra is very open. Now, there are chakras above the head. The 8th chakra is becoming very in vogue for people to work on. So I'm going to open the 8th chakra. There will be a graphic about this as well. And just patting the 8th chakra has to do with the Akashic records and past lives. Pour a little energy into it. And this isn't activating his karma. It's to the energy pouring in is to clarify. And then closing it up, going counterclockwise. There are many minor chakras in the body as well, such as the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. The palm has one on the front and back. The hips, one over here, one over here. The hips have a front and a back part, sometimes easier to work on standing up. The same with the knees, front and back, easier to work on standing up one at a time. And the ankles, the feet. And then below, oh, well, we'll just open that up. I can't help myself. I noticed something not quite right, and I stopped to give it a little fix. Same process. I patted it, stroking, some pouring, and then a little bit of closing. The closing, you might say, is like helping to keep the energy in. I didn't talk about why close the chakra. Many people go, I've worked so hard to open it, why are you closing it? Well, a camera lens opens to let in light and opens when there's too much light, opens and closes. Can't talk when I'm working with my third eye. Okay, now I'll stop and explain it for a second. Then we'll come back to these chakras. A camera lens, if there is a lot of light, goes fairly small, and if there's not enough light, it opens wide. Our chakras also are about not necessarily light, but energy exchange. So when we are comfortable, the chakras should open up and interchange energy with people around us, people's circumstances around us. And if we're uncomfortable, the chakras should be able to close down. Many people can't get the action of opening and closing to happen in their chakras. Their chakras are too open in the wrong circumstances or too closed in the right ones. So the process of opening and closing chakras is a little bit like using some grease, like a WD-40. It helps the chakras open and close better. There are also chakras below the feet. So I'm going to open this first chakra below the feet, pat it a little bit, and pour a whole heck of a lot into it. This has to do with being here on the earth. It's connected to the root chakra. All the chakras below the feet are helpful to the sacral, the hips, the knees, the feet, and especially to the root chakra. This kind of their anchoring link and closing it up. And I could go even further down, but I believe that is the end of this short demonstration. Thank you very much.